And this morning we have a special holiday edition of The Dish Recipe, a spinoff from our James Beard Award-winning series, The Dish. We focus on just one easy-to-follow recipe, and today our friends at New York Times Cooking celebrate the season with a simple recipe for root beer ham. Two good things together. Prep work takes less than 20 minutes. The oven does the rest.
Good morning. My name is Gayle King. I'm a cooking columnist for NYT Cooking. Today we're going to be making my root beer ham, which is perfect for the holidays. The ingredients you need for the dish are bone-in unsliced half ham, root beer, shallots, bay leaves, dark brown sugar, Dijon mustard, and rice vinegar. So the first step is just to score your ham. Take a sharp paring knife, and you just wanna make parallel lines an inch apart from each other. And they're gonna be about a ½ inch deep. Now I'm gonna go the other way. I'm gonna go perpendicular to those lines. So I can try to create like a general diamond shape is sort of what I'm after. So I'm gonna take my scored ham, cut side down. And the thing is, it's gonna go in the oven in a bath of root beer. So 2 cans of root beer. That cut side is kind of braising in this liquid, and I'm gonna add shallots to make that liquid even more delicious. I'm adding bay leaves. They add a woodsy, herbaceous aroma to the final dish. So we're going to cover it first. I like to do a layer of parchment between the ham and the foil, and this just goes in the oven for about 2 to 3 hours just to heat it through. This has been in the oven for about 2.5 hours. All we're doing now is taking some of this liquid and we're gonna make the glaze. So 2 cups of the braising liquid, about 4 teaspoons of Dijon mustard. Next, we're going in with a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. This is 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. We're just gonna cook this over high heat. What we're trying to do is reduce the liquid. After about 10 to 15 minutes, it should look like this. Really nicely thick, almost like a caramel. Perfect. That's delicious. It needs a little salt. Season to taste. So now is the fun part. Bring out your inner art student. Just paint the ham. This is the part where you're just glossing it up, giving it that kind of like coating. This just goes back in the oven. We crank the heat up to 400 degrees this time so that in 8 to 12 minutes, this part is gonna bubble up and get a little bit charred at the edges. So like any piece of meat, you really want this to rest. I think 15 minutes is all you need. So I'm gonna go in like this. Oh my God. That caramel kind of charred edge, that tasted like toasted marshmallow almost, but then on the inside, instead of just sweetness, it's like salty, savory ham. I think holiday ham, if it can fit into your life, your family will really, really love it. Happy holidays.
This morning, our friends at New York Times Cooking share a creamy potato casserole full of decadence and umami. And you can make it ahead of time, less than an hour, 10 minutes of prep work or less.
Good morning, it's Gayle King. I'm a cooking columnist for NYT Cooking. Today we're gonna make a really wonderful holiday side dish called Jansen's Temptation. It's a creamy potato casserole. The ingredients you need for the dish are unsalted butter, canned anchovies, heavy cream, yellow onion, russet potatoes, breadcrumbs, cinnamon, and nutmeg. This is a Swedish classic, and I just love that it uses an entire tin of anchovies. First, before I even use the anchovies, I'm gonna take advantage of this incredibly flavorful oil. So the anchovy oil goes into the cream. Anchovies add savoriness and lovely saltiness, brininess. I don't think it's a fishy taste. So I'm taking a little cinnamon in here, just a pinch, and then a little nutmeg, just a pinch. Measure with your heart, as they say. Next, I'm gonna prep all the other ingredients. I'm gonna slice an onion really thinly. You just want it as thinly as possible because These raw onions go in and melt into the cream and the potatoes. You want about 3 pounds of nice starchy potatoes. So I like using russet potatoes for this recipe. You're making batons. By batons, I really just mean French fry shape, you know? Now we're just gonna layer our ingredients. So I've got my buttered casserole dish here. First, take 1/3 of your potatoes and just create one layer. And just tumble them in. You don't need to be precise. So after the potatoes, I'm gonna do half of the onions. Next, add half of the anchovies, and I just kind of like try to distribute them, and then the final layer of potatoes, and then you're done. The last part is the cream mixture. And this seems weird, but you don't need additional salt. The anchovy, as this bakes, is gonna melt into the cream and season it. The next step is the breadcrumb topping. I have panko here. You can use any breadcrumb you like. I just have 3 tablespoons of butter here that I'm gonna kind of plop on top. So now I'm just gonna take this and bake it in a very hot oven, 450 degrees for about 40 to 50 minutes. Wow, look at that. It's just like the best ingredients in one dish, you know? This is so good. There's a crispiness on top, then you have these very creamy, soft potatoes on the bottom. When it's the holidays, you really want something like this, something that you can just assemble and pop into an oven and have a wonderful side dish to go on your table. It helps to just, you know, make things easier for yourself, especially during the holidays, because it's really all about family and friends and being with people you love. Happy holidays.
Today, we're sharing a recipe from the new illustrated kids cookbook, Priya's Kitchen Adventures by New York Times food reporter Priya Krishner. She's wonderful. This 10-minute recipe is for shortcut profiteroles. It uses sweet rolls instead of pastry. Great idea. Krishna teamed up with an 8-year-old sous chef to show how easy and fun it can be to make with kids.
Good morning. My name is Priya Krishna. I'm a food reporter at the New York Times and the author of the children's cookbook, Priya's Kitchen Adventures.
My name is Vivian, and today we will be making shortcut profiteroles.
The ingredients you need for the dish are unsalted butter,
Sweet rolls,
bittersweet chocolate,
heavy cream,
and vanilla ice cream. So the key to profiteroles is really pastry, chocolate, and ice cream. How does that sound to you?
great, yum.
But I wanted to make it kid-friendly, so we are gonna use toasted sweet rolls. We're gonna put the heat on, and we'll put it pretty low, and you're gonna put a piece of butter, and then you're just gonna toast the buns until they're golden brown. Can you do that?
Yes.
All right, cool. And while Vivian does that, I'm gonna make the ganache by combining heavy cream and chocolate. I'm just gonna stir this until it becomes ganache. You're looking for like a nice silky chocolate sauce that you can see your reflection in. All right, I think you're ready to add buns. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of this chocolate. If you're not getting the color you need, just add more chocolate and until you get that nice mirrory glaze. You wanna peek and see if it's ready? Oh, that looks perfect. I think you can take that out. Excellent.
That's what it looks like. Do these need to be toasted the other side too?
Nope, just one side. Because see, this side is like gonna be nice and pillowy and that other side's gonna be nice and crispy.
Oh yeah, these are
they're
good, these are good.
Perfect. Okay, our ganache is ready. You beautifully toasted these buns, Vivian, and now all that's left to do is assemble. So I've got my bottom bun here, and then I'm gonna get a nice round ball of ice cream, and I'm gonna put the top right here, and then
Wow.
drizzle the chocolate over. And I kind of like a lot of chocolate, so I'm gonna go like that. What do you think? You think you can do it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what you got.
Okay.
Exactly.
Oh my
Exactly.
gosh.
You got it.
Okay, so then we release. Well, I'll just do that.
Yeah, perfect. And then with the spoon, you're just gonna spoon some ganache over the top. And I guess the only thing left to do is taste them.
Okay. That was delicious.
What do you think of the vanilla and the chocolate?
Very good.
Then you have the nice toasty, buttery buns. You did such a good job toasting them. They're crunchy, they're soft, they're rich, they're buttery. Yum. And what I like about this is it's easy to do, and you can make this in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. I think it's very, very good, and very fun.
Very good and very fun are the highest compliments I could receive for this recipe. So I'll consider it a success.
Our good friends at the New York Times Cooking share a luxurious roast beef tenderloin. I'll be making this tonight. Cooks in less than 30 minutes.
Good morning, I'm Genevieve Coe, the Deputy Editor at NYT Cooking, and this morning we're going to be making roasted beef tenderloin, which is such a special dish for the holidays. The ingredients you need to make the dish are beef tenderloin, unsalted butter, soy sauce, Worcestershire sauce, granulated sugar, parsley, horseradish, heavy cream, sour cream, and mayonnaise. So the very first step is actually taking the beef tenderloin out of the refrigerator at least an hour before you plan on cooking. And next we're going to make the sauce that you're going to rub all over the beef to roast with it. So we're going to mix melted butter, soy sauce, the Worcestershire sauce, and granulated sugar, which is also going to help with that caramelization and give you some nice brown crust without having to sear the meat on the stovetop. I'm just going to pour this all over the meat. And we're going to rub it so that it's really evenly coating it on all sides. And once you have that all rubbed, you can go ahead and season the meat really generously with salt and pepper. So that's it, it's ready to go in the oven. It's been heating to 450. And the nice thing about a tenderloin is that it's only going to take 20 to 30 minutes. So while the beef is roasting, I'm going to make a super simple horseradish sauce, which is really delicious with beef tenderloin. So this is jarred horseradish, which has been drained. I'm putting half a cup of heavy cream. I'm also going to add half a cup of sour cream to give it that tanginess. And a quarter cup of mayonnaise and a little pinch of sugar. And I'm just going to season it with a little bit of salt right now. You want that center to read between 120 and 125 for medium rare. And I'm just going to let this rest for 15 to 20 minutes because that's going to help all the meat juices stay in there before slicing it. While I'm letting the meat rest, I'm just going to go ahead and chop some parsley for garnish. So these are just some fresh flat leaf parsley leaves. You could also do chives, you can do tarragon. I have made this beef tenderloin more times than I can count, and it is just one of the favorite dishes of kids at the table always. I mean, of adults too, for sure. So once you've plated the meat, you can just give it this hit of freshness with some lovely herbs. Super excited to have a bite. I am such a huge fan of the horseradish sauce. It's savory, it's punchy, it's creamy. This is just such the perfect festive holiday dish. It's something that everyone in the family will love, and I hope that you really enjoy it for the holidays too.
This week, we partnered with New York Times Cooking to bring you a sweet and salty cookie to get you in the holiday spirit. These peanut butter cookies have a fudgy center and crispy edges to give you that feeling of eating a spoonful of peanut butter straight out of the jar.
Good morning, I'm Genevieve Coe, Deputy Editor at NYT Cooking, and today we're making peanut butter cookies. They're definitely the first cookie that I ever baked. They're super fun to make with kids or even just to let kids make on their own. The ingredients you need to make the dish are all-purpose flour, baking powder, unsalted butter, granulated sugar, brown sugar, salted peanut butter, egg, vanilla extract, peanut butter chips, and roasted peanuts. So the first step is to whisk all-purpose flour, baking powder, and sea salt. This actually doesn't use that much flour because you really want to get the peanut butteriness to come through. So once all the dry ingredients are mixed, then we'll start with the rest of the ingredients. Half a cup of unsalted butter, half a cup of granulated sugar, half a cup of brown sugar, and you're just gonna smash the butter into the two sugars. This is nice and creamy. Everything is all mixed up. You can't see the distinction between the sugar and the butter, and that's when you know you're ready to add your next ingredients. We're gonna add a whole cup of peanut butter. I like crunchy peanut butter, but you can absolutely use creamy too. And I do like to use salted peanut butter. We're gonna add an egg and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So this is nice and smooth now, so we know that it's ready for the flour. Once you add the flour, you wanna actually not stir too hard. The more you stir it with the flour, you might end up with too tough a cookie. And at this point, your cookie dough is done, but I have 2 different add-ins for these peanut butter cookies that make them really extra special. The first thing is peanut butter chips, and these give the cookies this amazing, almost candy-like texture. And then if you want extra crunch, you can also throw in lightly salted roasted peanuts. So all you're doing is folding them in really gently. So you can see this dough really just came together in 5 minutes. It's super fast. We're just gonna scoop the cookie out onto the sheets. You can see it, and it just plops right on there. You can get anywhere from 40 to 50 cookies out of this dough. So the cookies are ready to go into a 350-degree oven, and they ideally bake on the middle rack for 10 minutes or so. So the first batch is done, and I'm so excited because they look so perfect. Oh my God, when you taste this warm, it is just a total taste of the holidays. It's just the most comforting, cozy cookie, and I love the balance of salty and sweet in these cookies. It just really hits all the notes for holiday baking.
Good morning, my name is Eric Kim. I'm a cooking columnist for the New York Times, and today we're gonna make soft sugar cookies with raspberry frosting. This is the nostalgic cookie of my childhood. The ingredients you'll need to make the dish are lots of unsalted butter, cream cheese, eggs, vanilla extract, sugar, cake flour, baking powder, freeze-dried raspberries, and sprinkles. I'm just gonna start creaming the butter and the cream cheese. This is a stick of unsalted butter, then the cream cheese, and some sugar and salt. I like to use a whole tablespoon of vanilla extract. What I'm going to do now is add the eggs. So you want your eggs also to be room temperature. When a recipe says room temperature eggs, room temperature butter, room temperature cream cheese, it really means it. I'm going to really take my whisk and try to get it as smooth as possible. This smells so good. It smells like boxed cake mix in the best way. 2 1/4 cups of cake flour, as well as 2 teaspoons of baking powder. The 2 teaspoons of baking powder signifying to us that this is more of a cake than a cookie. I'm happy with that. My mom always taught me to clean as you go. Next, we're just going to scoop them out onto 2 cookie sheets. I can't legally recommend this, but it's really good. So now these go in the freezer just for about 15 minutes. In that time, we'll finish the frosting. We're gonna start with just a little bit of butter, just 2 sticks, and then 2 cups of confectioner sugar. I'm gonna whip these up with my hand mixer. I'm just gonna add the vanilla now. Wow, that's so fluffy. I love it. A pinch of salt will do you wonders in this recipe. The final ingredient is the most exciting ingredient, freeze-dried raspberries. To me, they're just a concentrated raspberry. You could pulverize these in a spice grinder or food processor first, but I just like to use my hands and crush them. This is really my way of getting that bright pink frosting without using food coloring. What would you call this? Bubblegum pink? Barbie pink is what I like to call it. My goal in the next 30 seconds is to really whip some air into this. I wanna like double the volume so that it's so light and fluffy. And we're in the home stretch. These little blobs have been freezing just for a moment until they're easier to handle. And you just wanna roll them into little balls. Now that the cookies are all rolled out, we're just gonna bake them in a 350-degree oven, and they only need about 13 to 15 minutes. So let's get to frosting. You do want them to be fairly cool before you add the frosting. I like to almost like create a little divot in the center. The most important part of the sprinkles. That raspberry flavor is very forward. The cream cheese lightens up the cookie. The texture is really tender because of all the acid in the batter. I love this cookie. They're so fun. They're really fun to bake.
Okay, here we go.
Ready to dig in?
You know, when you got 2 sticks of butter in the recipe, you're heading in a good direction.
Bad.
Yeah.
Oh. That is soft and delicious.
I don't like frosting, though.
Well,
I'd rather take the frosting off and just eat the cookie.
do it.
Do it, but this.
So you don't like birthday cakes?
No.
I get a birthday pie.
Vlad
I know,
wasn't
I know
allowed
your birthday parties were really fun, but
Vlad wasn't allowed birthday parties.
Exactly.
He wasn't allowed.
Too close to Christmas. We're too close to Christmas.
This is actually really good frosting, though, Vlad.
I like it, right?
Because it's red without any artificial dyes. They use the raspberries, and it has that raspberry flavor to it. Today, our friends at New York Times Cooking share a recipe that will turn fussy anti-broccoli people into broccoli lovers. This is a guarantee, I'm told. This recipe is ready in under 20 minutes. Be on the table quickly, and it adds a delicious complexity to the humble head of broccoli.
Good morning. I'm Sola El-Whaley, cookbook author and contributor to NYT Cooking, and I'm going to show you how to make broccoli with sizzled nuts and dates. The ingredients you need to make the dish are assorted nuts and seeds like pecans, pepitas, or cashews, medjool dates, lemon, and broccoli. I'm going to start by making the nut topping. You can use any combo of nuts and seeds and really rough chop. Here I've got a mix of pepitas, pecans, and cashews. It's my favorite combo for this. Now I'm using raw nuts, so I'm going to fry it up in a little bit of oil. I love toasting nuts in fat like this because it's going to flavor the oil. So the nuts are going to toast for about 3 to 5 minutes. I'm going to get in there and stir it occasionally. And while that happens, I'm going to prep my broccoli. Make sure you really, really thoroughly dry your broccoli or any vegetable that you want to get brown, because if it is wet, especially the florets can hold on to a lot of moisture. So we're going to break this down. You should eat your stems. It has so much flavor. It can be a little tough, so just use a peeler to remove some of that. Now I'm gonna cut this into spears. So I like to kind of let the broccoli be the guide, yeah? Whoa. Make a little slit at the stem and just kind of pull it apart. So I can smell this. My pepitas are popping. We know that they're nice and toasty. I'm gonna add some dates. I like tearing it because the little coarse edges get extra caramelized. And these are already pitted, but if yours aren't pitted, just pull out the pits. So I'm gonna season this really aggressively with salt. Nuts can really take it. And I'm gonna add my torn dates and my black pepper. This is cracked black pepper. There's kind of a lot of it in there. And that's good. I'm gonna kill the heat and finish it with a squeeze of lemon juice, just to balance everything else. Now my topping's ready to go, and all we gotta do is finish our broccoli. So I'm gonna pop this under the broiler. You wanna get it ripping hot. Now while that heats up, I'm gonna coat my broccoli in oil, and you wanna take your time to really massage the oil onto it. Make sure like every single nook and cranny is evenly coated in fat, because that fat is gonna help distribute the heat. I'm gonna season this evenly with kosher salt. All right, so my tray has been in the broiler for a few minutes. You wanna move quickly so you don't lose that heat. Try and arrange the broccoli in one even layer. Hear that sizzle? It's already started to cook. And now we're gonna head right back under the broiler. Keep an eye on this because it's gonna go really fast. So it's been about 5 minutes. Wow, that looks so green. To finish this up, I'm just gonna pop it on a plate and top it with our nut topping. Huh? I think that looks great. Normally, I eat this whole plate for dinner by myself. This is the whole dinner. There's no rice, there's no chicken. There's so much going on here. We got crunchy broccoli, crunchy nuts, chewy dates. The pepper really hits you in the face. A little bit of lemon perking everything up. It's so good. Broccoli's great, guys. It's not boring. Eat more broccoli.